Hi friends, this is Gani. In this video, I'm going to explain you how to create PEB complete project in Tekla Structures, just like this. Okay, in this project, I'm going to explain you how to create PEB column and PEB rafters and its connections, base plate connection, and column to rafter connection and rafter to rafter connection, and how to place the purlins and its connections, and angle bracings and its connections, just like this. Okay, in this project I'm going to explain you how to create complete modeling and how to create single part drawings, assembly drawings, and reports or bill of quantity, BOQ or BOM, just like this. Okay, before going to explain about how to create complete PEB project in Tekla Structures, for more Tekla Structure related videos please go to my channel youtube.com/GaniSK. I will provide this link in the description below of this video. Please go through it and come here. Under videos you can find out so many Tekla Structure related videos. I hope these videos might be helpful to you, and at the top right corner please click on subscribe button. If you subscribe you will get notification or updates when uploading new video, so please click on subscribe. Okay, let's start. We have the design information also. I'll explain you how to use this design information to create the model. We have the web and flange details and purlin and angle details and everything. We have it. Okay, I'll explain how to study this design information and how to implement those information in Tekla Structures. Okay, before going to explain about how to create this complete project, PEB complete project in Tekla Structures, I'm going to take a new file. So click on menu, click on new, click on create, maximize this window. Now we're going to edit these grids according to our design information. Here you can see in our design we have the plan with the grids in horizontal direction 1, 2, 3, 4 grids, and in the vertical direction we have the 2 grids A and B. With the spacing, equal spacing, we have in the X direction 5000 equal intervals, and in the Y direction we have the 8000 millimeters. So let's take our project details in our Tekla Structures. Okay, to edit these grids, double click on this grid. Okay, click on this option to direct modification of it. And now we're going to edit these grids according to our information. In the X direction we have 4 grids, 5000 equal intervals. So now we're going to edit these grids. Enter here 0 and 3 into 5000 millimeters. In the Y direction we're going to take here 0 and 8000 millimeter. Okay, enter here 0 and 8000 millimeter. In the Z direction, now we're going to see in the elevation, you can see we have the 0 elevation and 4000 elevation and 4400 eve level and apex level elevations. We have it. Okay, now in the Z direction take 0 and plus 4000 and give the space and take 4400, just like this. Okay, according to we have the information about eve level and ridge level 4400, like this. Okay, now we're going to take in the X direction we have the 1, 2, 3, 4 grids labels. So enter here 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, in the Y direction we have A and B. In the Z direction we have 0 and plus 4000 and give space and take 4400 millimeter. Then click on modify. Then click on modify and close it. Click on space, right click on mouse, fit vertically to entire model. Okay, just like this. Now we're going to create the elevation and plan views for this project. So click on grid, right click on mouse, create views and along grid lines. Click on create and OK. Okay, now go to the elevation along grid 1. Click on this grid at 1. Click on this option and close it. Now we are in elevation on grid 1. So now we're going to create the columns. So now we're going to see the PDF file. Here you can see. Now we have the column information, the web 250 by 5 and flange is the 150 by 6 thickness. Okay, now we're going to edit according to this information. So go to the application components by using the shortcut Control F. Now we're going to attach this as side panel. So here again, so in this list application components, under application components in the list you can find out this PEB tool. If you don't have this tool, you need to install this PEB tool in your software. So click on this option, you will get these tools. In this list you need to select this PEB member, so click on this PEB member. Now you need to pick the first position here and pick the second position at this location. Right click on mouse, interact. Use the shift 4 for render view and double click on this rafter column. So now we're going to edit this column sizes at here. So take here the option, this one, and now we're going to edit. This is the web depth. In our design we have the web depth 250 millimeter, so up and down. So take here 250 millimeter, and bottom level also we have, top level also 250 millimeter. Now go to click on this parts tab. In the parts tab we have the information about outer flange thickness and width. We need to enter here the thickness and width. So we have the thickness is the 6 and width is the 150 millimeters. So enter here 6 and 150 millimeters width. Similar like that, in the inner flange also we have the same information, 6 and 150 millimeter width. And web thickness, in our design information we have the 5 thickness, so enter here 5 millimeter, then click on modify. You can see according to our information this column is generated. So then click on modify, apply, okay. Now we're going to change the side of this column, so click on here and take this downside arrow option, then click on modify, apply, okay. Right click on mouse, review. Now we're going to move this column at the middle of this grid. So select this column, right click on mouse, move from, click on here, this triangle indicates the middle of this column, so click on here and pick the destination point exactly grid and section point. You can see now this column exactly at the middle of this web of this grid like this. Okay, now we're going to copy this column in this other side. So select this column, Ctrl C, copy from, click on here origin point and pick the destination point at here. Right click on mouse, interact. Now we're going to change this orientation. You can see we need to change the orientation, so double click on here on this column, change the upward direction, then click on modify, apply, okay. Now we need to move this column, so select it, right click on mouse, move from middle of this column to grid and section point. That's just like this. Okay, now we're going to create the rafters here. In our rafter sizes also similar to the column, here you can see 250 by 5, 255 by 5 web, and flange is the 150 by 6, and here also 150 by 6. Okay, now we're going to say take the same member here. So go to application components by using the shortcut Control F, and under PEB you can see in the list you need to select this PEB. Under PEB you will get this option PEB member. So click on here and pick the first point at exactly at this location, and pick the second point exactly middle of this top level 4400. Here you can see this triangle indicates the middle of this grid, so click the second position here. Right click on mouse, interrupt. You can see you'll get just like this with the same sizes. So we need to take the one more beam here, so pick the first point at here and pick the second point at this location. Right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now we have the PEB members here, columns and rafters. Now go to 3D view, click on space, right click on mouse, review. For render view, use the shortcut Shift 4 for render view, just like this. Okay, now we're going to create the base plate connection at this location. So go to application components, and in this list you can see we have the PEB base plate. Click on here, pick the PEB member and pick the position at exactly grid and section point. Right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Close this window. By default you will get this type of PEB member. So according to our design we have the base plate information. So Just now we're going to see the base plate information here. You can see this is the base plate information. We need to create this type of base plate in our project. So double click on this base plate. Okay, in this projection, according to our design information, we need to take here the projection 25 from the inside flange. So enter here 25 and 25. Now go to bolts tab. Bolt size is here, you can see 20 dia. So enter here 20, and we have the tolerance 3 millimeter. So enter here in under tolerance 3 millimeter, and from inside flange to outside, but we have the information from outside to here is the 75. So we need to take here the inside flange to here minus 50. Similar like that, we need to take here minus 50. Okay, in the width wise we have the gauge distance here 100 millimeters. So enter here 100. We don't have extra outside bolts, so make it 0. Then click on modify to change this base plate like this. Okay, now we need to change the width of the base plate. So go to parts, and we have the base plate width, it should be 200 millimeters. So enter here 200, and we have the thickness of this base plate is a 16 thickness. So enter here 16 millimeter thickness. Then click on modify. Okay, you will get just like this. You can see like this. Okay, according to our design information, we don't have any stiffeners at this location, so we're going to remove the stiffeners. So go to stiffeners tab and click on here and make it no, and similar like that we need to make here also no. Then click on modify. Okay, here you can see now we have the base plate according to our design information. So then click on modify, apply, okay, click on space, interrupt, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Okay, we already applied this component, so go to application components once again and select this PEB base plate and select the PEB member and pick the intersection point at here, right click on mouse, interrupt. You'll get the same base plate as before. We have the base plate like this. Okay, no need to enter the values again and again, just apply the property and you can use multiple times. Okay, now we're going to give the connection between the column to rafter. So go to application components and scroll it down and select this PEB name option, click on here and pick the main component as column and pick the secondary component as select the rafter. By default you will get just like this, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Hold the control button and select the column component and rafter, then click on this option PEB member update to get the proper connection, just like this. Okay, now close this window, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now we're going to see the connection details in our design information. So go to the design information and we have here the column to rafter connection details here. Okay, now according to this information we're going to edit the connections. Okay, double click on this connection. Okay, now come here, let's take here 160 millimeter and it should be 1 millimeter minimum we need to maintain. So now go to the application components here. We have the projection here from inside flange to outside of the connection plate 100 millimeter. So we need to enter here 100 millimeter, and at this location we need to enter the thickness of the flange 6 millimeter. Then click on modify. You'll get like this. Now go to path tab. In the path tab we need to enter the connection plate width. So according to our design information we have the connection plate width is the 200 millimeter. So enter here 200 millimeter, and thickness it should be total thickness here. So enter here total thickness, then click on modify. Okay, like this. Okay, now go to the design information. Now we're going to see in the next tab. Go to the bolts tab. In the bolts we have the bolt size is 16 dia and tolerance is 2 millimeter. So it should be 16 and tolerance should be 2 millimeter. Then come here, from inside flange to outside is the 50 millimeter. So we need to enter here the 50 millimeter, and from outside of the bolt to inside bolt should be 100 millimeter in between the two bolts. So enter here 100 millimeter. That's it. From this side, inside flange to this bolt, inside bolt should be 50 millimeter. So we need to enter here minus 50 millimeter, and then okay. We don't have any extra bolts inside, so just remove this dimension, then click on modify. Yeah, that's it. You'll get just like this. Okay. And now we're going to see, go to the stiffness now. Click on this parameters tab. You can see this number 4 stiffener indicates here this stiffener. So in our design, okay, in our design we're going to maintain this minimum distance of this number 4. Go to the stiffeners and enter here this connection details. Okay, come here and select this stiffener and this web stiffener. This is it should be triangle stiffener, so we can choose this option from this list, triangle. And thickness of this stiffener should be 6 thickness, so enter here 6 thickness and come here. The height we're going to take here the 60 millimeter, and width we're going to take here 95 millimeter, then click on modify. You'll get just like this. Okay, similar like that we're going to take from here. So go to the parameters. You can see this outside flange stiffener indicates the number 5. So go to stiffeners. You can see 5 stiffener. So take the triangle stiffener. Now take here 95 millimeter. The gap is the 100 millimeter. We're going to take the clearance 5, so 95, and height we're going to take 60 millimeter. Then click on modify. You'll get just like this. Okay. Now we're going to see this number 8 stiffener. So go to stiffener. Go to the stiffener, additional stiffener, and select this diagonal stiffener here. We're going to maintain this stiffener up to here, so make it here 0 and here also 0. Then click on modify. You'll get just like this. Okay. Now I'm going to take the stiffener width should be 70 millimeters. So thickness is the 6 millimeter and width should be 70 millimeter. Then click on modify. You'll get like this. Okay. At the bottom we have the 50 millimeter clearance from here and this side also. Okay. Now coming to this number 7 stiffener. So click on the stiffener. You can see in the number 7 stiffener we have. So at this location also we are going to take here thickness is 6 and width we are going to take here 70 millimeter. Then click on modify. That's it. Okay, that's about this connection details. Then click on modify, apply. Okay, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. Now we need to update this connection. So go to the application components and hold the control button and select this column and rafter and this component. Then click on PEB member updated and close it. Here you can see now we have the proper connection just like this. Click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. You can see just like this. Yeah, that's it about this connection. Now we're going to apply this connection at this location also. So go to application components and select this PEB knee, then pick the column and then pick the rafter. You'll get just like this. Right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view, hold the control button and select this column, component and rafter and click on this PEB member update to get the proper connection like this and close it. Click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. Okay, now we're going to give the connection between rafter to rafter. So go to application components and scroll it down and select this PEB splice and click on this option and close this window. Pick the main rafter as this rafter and pick the second rafter as this component. You'll get the by default like this. Right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse review. Now go to the application of components and hold the control button and select this two rafters and then component, and then click on this PEB updater to get this proper connection like this, and close this window. Click on space, right click on mouse review. By default we have the connection, edge connection like this. Now we're going to edit this connection according to our design information. So go to application. Now we're going to go to the design information for rafter to rafter connection like this. We have the design information like this. Now we're going to edit this information according to our this component. So double click on this component. Okay, you can see inside flange to edge of this plate is the 100 millimeter, so we need to enter here 100 and here also 100. Then click on modify. Now go to both tab. At this connection we have the 16 dia bolt and tolerance is 2 millimeter, so enter here 16 dia and tolerance is 2 millimeter. And in the lengthwise we have the information here from inside flange to outside is 50 millimeter, and here also 100, and here also 50 and 100. Then click on modify. In the widthwise we have the two bolts here, so distance between the two bolts are the 100 millimeters, so enter here 100, and we don't have any outside bolts, so make it 0. Then click on modify. You can see you'll get just like this. Now we're going to go to the parts tab. In the parts tab we have the connection plate width is 200 millimeters, so enter here 200 millimeter, and about thickness we have the toll thickness here, so enter here toll thickness. Then click on modify. You'll get just like this. Okay, now go to stiffness tab. In the stiffness tab, now we're going to see here. Okay, in the widthwise we're going to take here 95 millimeter, and here let's take 60 millimeter. Then click on modify. Okay, web stiffeners, it should be like this. These stiffeners are not required, so additional stiffeners we're going to remove those stiffeners. So this is number 1, 2 and 3 stiffeners, so we don't require any number 1 and 3 stiffeners. So delete bolt pitch center stiffener in this option, enter here number 2 and give the space and enter 3. Then click on modify. You'll get just like this. Okay, now coming to this outer flange stiffeners, so enter here the thickness. In our design we have the thickness of the stiffener should be 6 thickness, so enter here 6. Similar like that, enter here also 6, and this it should be 95 millimeter and height should be 60 millimeter, and then click on modify. You can see you'll get just like this. Okay, just take 90 millimeters, click on modify like this. Yeah, that's more than enough about this connection. Then click on modify, apply, OK. Click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now we have the complete frame of columns and rafters in this section. So hold control button and select this column and rafters. Then right click on mouse, copy, and pick the origin for copying at grid and section point, and pick the destination points where you want to place the frames. Click on here and click on here. Right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now we have the complete frames at each and every grid, 1 and frame 2 and frame 3 and frame 4 like this. Okay, now we're going to create the purlins at this location. So before going to create the purlins, now we're going to create the work plane. So go to the elevation view, click on window and select this grid at 1. Click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now we're going to take the work plane here, so click on this view, click on this work plane and select this work plane tool. Okay, it should be along the rafter direction, so click on here, right click on mouse, interrupt. Now we have the temporary work plane along the rafter direction. Okay, now we're going to take the reference points to place the purlins. So go to edit and take the points and take at any position and zoom it and pick the first position here. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Now we're going to take the one more point at, zoom it and place it exactly at this here. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Here you can see now we have the point at this location and at here also. Now we're going to coming to the design information. Okay, you can see now we have the design information here, 200 from edge of the first purlin, and similarly like that here you can see from ridge to first purlin should be 250 millimeters. So we're going to copy these points. So drag and select this point, right click on mouse, copy special linear. Here you can see in the local coordinate in the x direction we need to move. So in our design information we have 200 millimeters. So in the x direction enter here 200 millimeter, then click on copy and OK. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Similar like that at the ridge location we have the 250 millimeters. So drag and select this point, right click on mouse, copy special linear, click on clear. Now we need to move this point in the opposite x direction. So enter here minus 250, then click on copy, OK. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Now we have the reference points at here and here. In between we have the two purlins. Here you can see 1 and 2 purlins. So with the equal spacing 1 to 82. So now we're going to take the two more purlins. So click on this point and take this online and enter here the number 2. Then click on apply, OK, and pick the first point at here and zoom it and pick the second point at this location exactly at the point. Right click on mouse, interrupt. Now here you can see now here the purlin points here, reference points with the equal spacing. Now we're going to place the purlins at this location. So go to 3D view once again. Now go to steel and select this beam and pick the first point at here and pick the second point at this location. Right click on mouse, interrupt. So for render view use the shortcut Ctrl 4 and double click on this beam. In the list click on here and in the list select this purlin. By default we have the information here. Then in our design information we have the purlin size 200 by 1.5, 25 and 50, but we have different profile here. So click on here. Now we're going to choose the purlins profile. So enter here, height is the 200 and thickness it should be 1.5 millimeter. So enter here 1.5 millimeter and edge is at 25 millimeters. So edge fold should be 25 millimeter and width should be 50 millimeter. Okay, enter here 50 millimeter according to our design information. Then click on apply, OK. Now I'm going to change the color of this purlin also class 2. Then click on modify. Okay, you will get just like this. Now we're going to rotate this purlin along the rafter direction. So in the rotation option select the front and then click on modify. Okay, now we have the like this. Then click on close it, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. Similar like that we record 2 more purlins in this direction. So select this purlin, right click on mouse, copy, zoom it and pick this end point of the grid and pick the second position here and one more position at this location. Right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. Now here the purlins, here you can see just like this. Now hold the control button and select these 3 purlins. Now go to elevation at 1, then right click on mouse, click on move, then pick the position, zoom and pick the position at corner of this purlin and pick the destination position at exactly at the our reference point at here. Right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space. You can see we have the purlin like this. Okay, our reference points are disappear. To display these points again, double click on this space and click on this display, click on this option points to appear in the window, then click on modify, apply, OK, click on OK. You can see now we have the reference points like this. Okay, if you don't display these points, so double click on this space or this window, then go to the display and tick mark here and straight off these points, then click on modify, apply, OK, then you will get these points, reference points like this. Okay, now go to 3D view. First of all, we need to create the connection, and then later we're going to copy multiple purlins. So go to application components, and in the search box type number 1 and then click on enter. Scroll it down, you will get here, you can see cold rolled overlap, select this option. Okay, and click on this option, select object in component, then pick the flange and then pick this purlin and press scroll middle button to place the connection. Okay, by default you will get just like this. Then right click on mouse interrupt and close this window, click on space, right click on mouse view. Now we're going to edit this connection. So before that, select this option, select component, and then double click on this component or connection. Okay, in our design information, we have the design information about this purlin connection. You can see we have the projection 100 mm, so enter here 100 mm, then click on modify. Okay, you'll get just like this. Now use this screen controller option to adjust this window. Now go to cleat. We have the cleat information. You can see L 150 by 60 by 5 thickness. So click on here, click on this option, take this L profile and enter here 150. Height should be 150 and width should be 60, short leg, and thickness should be 5 mm. Then click on apply, OK. Okay, now we're going to modify it. Now go to bolts tab. In the bolts, in our design information, we have we have the bolt size here 12 mm. So we're going to take here 12 mm, and tolerance it should be 2 mm. So enter here 2 mm. Okay, now come here and select this option, and in this option we're going to take here this option, lapping option. Okay, we need to enter here the bolt distance, so enter here 50 mm here in our design information, and enter here the two number of bolts, and enter here 75 mm here, then click on modify. In the widthwise, we need to enter here in the widthwise size 25, 60 and 25. So enter here 25 and here also 25. Number of columns here 2, and enter here 60 mm. Then click on modify. Okay, that's it about our design information for this connection. For lapping condition, we can enter here also. We have the 1000 mm lap of these two purlins, so you can enter here also the option 1000. You can see in our design information 1000 from this bolt to this bolt 1000, and 500 is the middle. By default you will get the middle, no need to enter here anything. Okay, in the edge distance we're going to take here 25 mm, then click on modify, apply, OK. That's it about this connection. So click on space, right click on mouse view. Now we're going to apply this connection at every junction of the frame to two purlins. So go to application components by using the shortcut Control F and select this cold roll overlap, and use this option, select object in component, and then click on this flange and select these two purlins, then press scroll wheel button to generate just like this. You can see now we have the lap of the two purlins like this. Okay, and select the flange and select the two purlins and press the scroll wheel button. Select the flange and press this purlin and press the scroll wheel button. Right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse redraw view. That's it about this connection like this. Okay, here you can see this is the total purlin, and this is the one purlin, and this is one purlin. These two purlins are lapping each other and bolt with these two total bolts like this. Okay, that's it about here. Now we're going to copy these purlins. So hold the control button and close this window, and hold the control button and select these three purlins. Now go to elevation view. Now right click on mouse, copy from, zoom it, and pick the origin position here, and pick the destination position where we have the reference points. Just click on the reference point to place the purlins like this. Ctrl Z and zoom it and pick exactly at the point location. Right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse redraw view. Okay, now we're going to copy these purlins on other side. So click on space, right click on mouse redraw view. Now we're going to change this work plane. So click on this view and select this work plane and select this parallel to XYZ plane. Then click on change and close it. Now hold the control button and select this all the purlins. Okay, like this. Then right click on mouse, copy spatial mirror, pick the first point middle of the second grid, and here you can see you can pick the second point middle of the other grid. Then click on copy. Okay, click on space, right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse redraw view. You'll get just like this. Okay, now here the purlins on the roof just like this. Okay, now we're going to create the bracings in the rafters. So go to elevation view once again. Now we're going to create the bracings at this location according to our design information. You can see you have the bracings on the roof like this. Okay, cross bracing in first bay and last bay with the angle profile is the L 50 by 50 by 5 thickness, and we have the bracing like this. In our connection details we will see the bracing details like this. Okay, now we're going to create this type of bracing. So go to the roof plan. Now we're going to create the bracings at this location. So go to the, come here, we need to take the reference point. So actually we need to take the vertical connection instead of horizontal connection. You can see in our design information we have the vertical connection. You can see we have the vertical connection, so we're going to change this connection here. Select this option, select component, and double click on this component. Click on here, and under the list select this vertical component, then click on modify. You can see we have the vertical connection, then click on apply. OK. We need to apply this component at each and every connection. So hold the control button and select this component like this, and here also hold the control button and select this all components, then click on modify. Then click on apply. Apply. OK. Click on space, right click on mouse, redraw view. Okay, we need to update these connections. So drag and select the entire connections. Now go to the application components and close it here and select this PEB member updater. Yeah, close it, click on space, right click on mouse, review. You can see now here the proper connection according to our design information. You can see vertical connection just like this. You can see just like that. You can modify and change these connections like this. Okay, now we don't have any connection at this location because we changed this connection. So once again we're going to create this purlins connection. So go to application components, and we already saved this connection. So enter here number 1 and scroll it down and select this option, and now we're going to create the connection between both of it. So click on this option and select this plate and select this purlin, then press scroll wheel button to place the connection. We already saved this connection, so no need to enter again and again these values of this connection. Just take this option and select the options and make it just like this. Okay, do the same procedure at every junction. Just select the flange and purlin and press the scroll wheel button to place the purlin connection just like this. Yeah, do the same thing. You need to select the both purlins when at the junction we have the two purlins. Just select the flange and two purlins just like this. You can select the web and then you can select the two purlins also like this. Yeah, that's it. Now with the connections and purlin connections also, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Okay, now we have the columns and its connections and purlins and its connections also. Now we're going to create the bracings, roof bracings. Before that, close this window and go to the elevation view. Now we need to take the work plane also. So click on this work plane and select this work plane tool and along the rafter, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, review. Now we need to take the reference points at this location. So go to edit, and here you can see in our design we have the purlin, this brace angle with the gusset plate like this. So now we're going to create here reference point. So select this point and select at any position and zoom it and pick the point at here, right click on mouse, interrupt. Now select it, right click on mouse. You can take the reference point at here, so remove it here. Now we're going to take the reference point, zoom it and select it at here, right click on mouse, interrupt, select it, right click on mouse, move special linear. In the x direction, you can see in the x direction we're going to take here 150 millimeter. In the opposite y direction we're going to take here minus 90 millimeter. Then click on move, OK. You can see now here the reference point at this location. Similarly like that we need to take here also reference point. So right click on mouse, interrupt, click on this point and take at any position and zoom it and place it exactly at here. Before that, right click on mouse, interrupt. Now we're going to update this connection. So go to application components and remove here, hold the control button and select this component and hold control button, select these three components, then click on this PEB updater. Yeah, click on space, right click on review. Now we're going to take the reference point, close this window at any position and zoom it, and at intersection point we need to place, so select this option, snap to intersection point, and place it here. Right click on mouse interrupt and drag and select it. Right click on mouse, move special linear, click on clear. In the opposite x direction we need to enter here minus 150 millimeter. In the opposite y direction we're going to take minus 90 millimeter. Then click on move, OK. Now we have the reference points head here. Though hold the control button and select these 2 points, reference points, then go to 3D view, right click on mouse, copy from this intersection point to this intersection point, click on escape. Actually we have the reference point at this location. You can see we have the reference point hit here, so we need to copy these points at here. So right click on mouse, copy from at grid intersection point 1 to grid intersection point 2, right click on mouse interrupt. Now we have the reference points on both rafters just like this. So we can create the bracing at this location. So go to steel and select this beam, pick the first point at here and pick the second point at the reference point here. You can see at here, right click on mouse interrupt. We need to change this profile, so double click on this purlin, so click on here and take the angle brace, then click on modify. By default we have the angle brace size is the 75/70/6, but in our design we have the information about the brace. It should be L 50/50/5, so we're going to change the profile size here. So click on here, enter here 50/50/5, then click on apply, OK, click on modify and close it. Now we're going to take the one more angle brace, so select this beam and select the first point at here and rotate slightly and pick the second point at this location. Right click on mouse interrupt. Here you can see these two angles should be one direction only, so we need to select this purlin on other side. So we're going to take those purlins on other side. So we're going to change the direction of the selection. So pick the first point in this direction and pick the second point at here and right click on mouse interrupt. Now we can see the L angle legs should be only one direction like this. Based upon your direction we need to change the direction of selection to get the two angle legs on one side like this. Okay, now go to the design information. Now we're going to see, you can see one should be full length and two should be one break, two different angles. So we're going to split the one brace angle according to our design information. So click on this edit and select this split and select this member and pick the point at middle. Right click on mouse interrupt. Now we're going to give the connections. So coming to here, now we're going to create the connection between rafter to this angle. So go to application components and in the search box type here number 11. So we need to select this bolted gusset 11 and select this option, select object in component and select the web and then select this angle, then press the scroll wheel button to place the connection. Right click on mouse interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse review. By default you will get the connection like this. Then select this option, select component and then double click on this connection. Now we're going to change this edge distance and both sizes according to our design information. close this window. Now we're going to see the design information. You can see we have the distances here, bolt size, everything. So we have the web versus this angle distance is a 5 millimeter. So we need to enter here the 5 millimeter, and we have the edges 5 millimeter here clearance. So enter here 5 and 5, and here also 5. Then click on modify. Then later this gusset plate should be along the angle. So by default we don't have the like that, so we need to change the angle 0 here. Then click on modify. Now we'll get just like this according to our design information. Now we have this plate thickness is 6 thickness, so go to gusset and enter here the thickness of this gusset plate 6. Then click on modify like this. Now go to brace bolt 1 tab. Now here the bolt size is a 12 dia, so enter here the 12 dia, and the tolerance should be 2, so enter here 2. Now we have the edge distance here, you can see 25, 50, 25, so enter here 25, 50, 25, and number of columns are 2. And in this direction we have the 1 column, so it should be 1. And these are also middle of this angle, so we need to select this option middle, then click on modify. Yeah, that's it about this connection. Then click on modify, apply. Okay, before that we can directly enter this option also at this location. Go to the brace bolt 1 and do the same thing, otherwise just apply. Okay, now we're going to change the options at this location later. So we applied this connection property, so go to application components. Now select this brace bolt 1 and select this option, select object in component, and pick the web and pick the angle, and press the scroll wheel button to place the angle. That's it. Similarly like that we're going to do at here also. Select the web and select this angle, press the scroll wheel button to place the angle at here, connection. Yeah, that's it. Right click on mouse interrupt. Now we're going to give the connections between this angle to angle. So select this brace bolt 11 and select the full length angle, and then select this remaining 2 angles and press the scroll wheel button to place the angle like this. Click on space, right click on mouse, redraw. Now we need to change the bolt sizes in this direction at here. Okay, select this option, select component, and then double click on this connection. And close here. In our design information, you can see these two are the same options. According to here, we have the 5 millimeter by default, and it should be 0, and we have the clearance is a 5 millimeter here, and 12 dia tolerance is 2. Brace bolt 1, we have the 12 dia tolerance 2, so it should be 12 dia, and these are the by default values. So we need to change this also, similar like this. So go to brace bolt 2. You can see you need to go to the brace bolt 2. In the brace bolt 2, before we have entered in brace bolt 1, you can see bolt size and everything. Now we're going to go to the brace bolt 2, and we need to enter the same values here. 12 dia and tolerance is the 2, and edge distances we have the 25, 25, and here are 2, and enter here 50. Okay, it should be middle. Then click on modify. You can see now this connection should be as per our design information like this. Okay, then click on modify, apply. Okay, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw. Now we're going to copy this bracing at here. So hold the control button and select this 3 brace angles, then right click on mouse, copy from this intersection gradient section to number 3 gradient section at here. Okay, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, street view. You can see now here the same angle bracing connections at here also. Now go to views and select this work plane and select this option parallel to XYZ plane. Click on change and close it. Now we're going to copy these connections on other side of this frame. So hold the control button and select these 3 brace angles and these are angles also. Okay, now right click on mouse, copy special, mirror, and pick the first point middle of one grid and pick the second point middle of the second grid. Then click on copy. Okay, right click on mouse, interrupt, click on space, right click on mouse, redraw and click on OK. You can see now here the roof bracing also just like this according to our design information on the roof. You can see like this. Okay, that's it about our complete model according to our design information like this. You can see now we have completed our project modeling, PEB modeling in Tekla Structures just like this. Okay, in our next video we will continue this project. In our next video I'll explain you how to create single part drawings and assembly drawings and how to create bill of quantities, BOQ and reports for this project in our next video, next part 2. This is the part 1, and in our next video part 2 I'll explain you how to create single part and assembly and how to create BOQ and everything. Stay tuned my channel. If you like this video, please like it and share it. For more Tekla structure related videos, please go to my channel youtube.com/ganisk. I will provide this link in the description below of this video. Please go through it and come here. Under videos you can find out so many Tekla structure related videos. I hope these videos might be helpful to you, and at the top right corner please click on subscribe button. If you subscribe you will get notification or updates when uploading new videos, so please click on subscribe. Okay, thank you.